welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachel
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachel and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that?
Hey!
Hey!
This episode is brought to you by my admin. Well, HD Photo Hub, which is basically like having an admin.
That's right. And it's not just a delivery platform. It's a powerhouse designed to make your work shine. From stunning teaser videos and social media reels to custom property websites and polished printable flyers, HD Photo Hub automates it all so you can focus on what matters, growing your business.
That's right. All right. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about how to build a strong website that Google actually understands. And I think this is the big misconception that a lot of people have is they built a website, it looks great, but they may or may not know if it's actually working for them like they think it is if they haven't done some of the fundamentals and some stuff that we're going to talk today about. Some magic words like schema.
Yeah, which I learned about at PMRE
Yes.
from Auto HDR, the guy's
Same.
speech from Auto HDR. And I was like, schema. I wrote that down. I'm like, figure that out. Learn that.
We were sitting there. I forget who it was next to me. We were sitting there going, schema, like, is that a language? What is that? Was that you or was that somebody else? We're like, what is this? Is it code? Is it what?
Is it a website? Is it like a definition? We were so confused.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's code. It's
Yeah.
code, folks. And it helps you get found on Google. It connects Google to your website. And we have an awesome resource at the end that will make this bulletproof for you to use what I've created for you to be able to add this to your website. So stick around for that. But I was shocked, Neal, when I looked back at because we talked about what are we going to talk about this week, and we said, let's talk about the website. And I was like, I swear we've done an episode on websites, but we haven't.
Yeah. No.
We haven't.
Maybe we just touched on it in some of the marketing stuff, like in one of the bigger episodes. Maybe that was it. Because I thought we did too. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, here we go. We're gonna really dive into it. And I know that from my standpoint too, like I made mostly when I made websites in the past, it was just like more about like, I've got a website done, right? And I really have not touched. We refreshed our website when we did the brand change, but I really didn't look at it once since then. Because I've always been more organic, and I was like, people just refer people, so it never really felt super critical to me. But I looked at it and I'm like, oh boy, these are some old pics, and we need to revitalize this a lot. And just clarity of it and all kinds of stuff. It could be totally way better than it is currently. And now that my mindset has switched to trying to really grow the business more this year, it's a big piece that needs to work well for if it isn't just going to be somebody referred me, if it comes from an ad or if it comes from outreach, that they want to look and really understand what you do. And mine's not optimized right now for that. It's also not optimized for just the SEO for Google and stuff. So I've got a lot of work to do. And so this is helpful for me as well. And totally going to revamp a lot of stuff. And another thing, just a little tidbit that I remember from PMRE as well was I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that mattered. They were mentioned swapping out your images frequently. Actually helps your SEO, which I didn't realize that actually mattered. I figured you got images there, you're good. Rach, can you imagine if you had to go back to a world pre-HD Photo Hub?
Oh, no way. No, HD Photo Hub literally saved my life during the COVID craze. With online ordering, their invoicing, the photo delivery, the Google integration, and just having everything on one platform, HD Photo Hub really does it all. And I cannot imagine my business without it.
Same. Pre-HD Photo Hub, I feel like I was just spending all my time chasing my own tail. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. The good news is our listeners get a special deal. If you enter the code STS, you're going to get 10 free full marketing kit deliveries. Remember, enter the code STS.
So I think one of the most common misconceptions as a creator is that if your website looks pretty, that Google will find it, and Google's you're going to build your SEO and you're going to attract more clients and whatnot. And that just simply is not true. Like, you have to have structure in your website so that Google can identify the key things. So we're going to get into structure, clarity, SEO foundations, and the missing piece that most sites ignore, which is schema.
So I definitely don't have schema in my website.
after
Or do
today.
I?
No,
Okay.
you don't. You have to, it's like code that you
Wix
copy and paste.
doesn't do it by default, right? Because I just have like a
No.
template website by Wix. Okay.
You have to add it. Yeah. It's really easy. And I've made it really easy for you. So it's like copy paste done.
Cool.
So yeah, basically like a strong website is not just like a pretty design, fancy animations and trendy layouts. It actually has a lot of clarity and explains who you are, what your offer is, and where you operate. Like these are the three main things that Google's going to look for. Like who you are, what do you offer, and where are you? Okay. So those three things need to be on your homepage. Like that needs to be super easy for people to find. And one thing that we learned from building a story brand by reading that book, talking to John Reed and all that is like, if you confuse, you lose. So if clients get onto your website and they cannot navigate through it easily and they can't figure out what you do, you're going to lose them. They're going to click off because they don't want to sit there and have to try to figure it out. So make it very clear to them what you do and what your offer is and where you're located. I think a lot of people miss the location piece often.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
especially
only
on the first page, right? On the main
Yeah.
page, because I think they usually have like a contact page and just put it there, right? In fact, mine, I'm not sure if that's on my first page either.
Yeah.
So that's good to know for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And also on social media, a lot of people miss that as well. Like if you don't put that up in your bio, like a lot of people will think, like I've had people from Eastern Washington that reach out and they're like, oh, do you service over here? And I'm like, nope, definitely not. So yeah, you want to make it easy for humans and Google to understand who you are and what you do.
And also prioritizing, if we're talking about the branding and all that, is that you also don't want it to just be a list of services. You want them to know how you'll help them. And that's a big problem I'm having with my website evaluating right now, is that it's reading more like a list of services than how I'm going to help them. Like get your photos in 24 hours, like solving their problems versus just, this is what I offer. So mine's a little bit too much services and it needs to be tied into a little bit more of what separates us, what we do better than other people, how we help people, who we've helped, that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. And that's actually all in Pete Stegel's Pixl Marketing Method book too. He talks a lot about that. I'm listening to the audiobook right now and which is in Audible, which is great. I have so many credits. I have like 8 credits. I've not been listening to audiobooks. Anyway, so I'm listening. But his magnetic messaging is where I'm at right now. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And it's all about your messaging. It's exactly what you're saying, Neal. It's like understanding what sets you apart. What's your unique value proposition for your clients? Like all of us pretty much have high-end looking photos now because we're either using auto HDR or we're using professional editors overseas. So that's kind of out the window. Mostly everybody gets everything back the next day now. That's nothing really new. So what's really setting you apart? Like Pete uses the example is he uses the 3 R's. So it's retouch, reshoot, or refund is his guarantee. So if you're not happy with your photos, he'll either retouch it, reshoot it, or refund you your money, which I love. So that gives him peace of mind. So that makes him stand out next to the guy that doesn't actually offer a guarantee, right?
Yeah.
So think about that. Like, how can you set yourself apart in this sea of photographers where pretty much we're all doing the same services at a little bit different creativity level and whatnot, but definitely you need something that's going to make you stand out and something that's going to solve their problems. Because what is their biggest problem? I would say it's having a lack of time and a lack of wanting to do marketing or having the time to do marketing properly.
And another big piece of that is removing the wall. What will stop them from like clicking your book now? You want to eliminate all of those things to remove all the barriers. And a couple of those things are not currently removed on my website, for example, which is like trust, or, if you have a couple quotes on that first page, or if you have a couple logos from the brands that you work with, and a couple of those things we're not succeeding on that first page, it's not there. So anything you do to establish like, oh, KW uses this, like that already, that takes away a little barrier. Oh, KW uses them? Okay, cool. Or that guarantee, like, oh, okay, I know they're going to fix it if it ain't right. Okay, cool. So removing those barriers, there's no resistance to go, all right, let's book it. Yeah. And so, I've got to iron that out just for communication to the humans on that page. But
totally. And you can pull in your Google reviews to be like a running feed that updates automatically on your website too. So that's nice. And I actually learned at PMRE as well, just for like SEO purposes, is to put in reviews, not only in one spot on your homepage, but add a review like in your video section. Add a review right next to your example of your video where people are talking about your video services and how great they are, which I thought that was interesting. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, because people are looking at that service and then they see validation, social proof that somebody has used them and they liked their video.
Super smart. I also remember them saying at PMRA that I didn't know about this either, was the metadata for your photos. If you enter your location and
Yes.
your company URL and all that in your photos, that a lot of these AI search things, I think they were talking about AI specifically, but maybe it's just regular Google too, but that they will pull that information too. So one other way to get seen when people are searching is if you have that in all your images that you're, swapping out.
Okay, so a couple essentials that every service-based website should have, essential pages, that is, a homepage. These are like, duh, but some people might not have these.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
really, you might not have an about section or a contact. So it's home, services, about, and contact. Super simple. So make sure you have those 4, if anything. That'll help Google find you and make the structure on your website really easy. People are used to seeing those tabs. They go to a website and they expect to see those, right? Those are really basic. So.
Yeah, and even in the contact page, varies sometimes, but even if you don't want them to like call you or something, you still need the contact page, and you could have a form there that then at least they can email you. Some people don't put their phone number directly, but I'd want to talk to people. I think that's the best way to close, is when you get somebody on the phone, but that's up to you, right? All right, so let's talk about content that answers questions and how that helps with SEO.
Yes.
So one of the big ones that they highly recommend, right, is frequently asked questions. A lot of people miss this, and I think our website currently is missing this too.
So is mine.
FAQs. So so Google really values you being specific and actually helping, not just a bunch of keywords. A lot of people, I think, just have this idea if they just throw keywords everywhere, it'll work. But Google's smart and understands what's of value and what isn't. So if you're actually answering questions and helpful, you're actually going to help your SEO. Tracking throughout the year, when people send you questions, screenshot it in your text or whatever it is. Same thing with your testimonials. That's what I do. I'll screenshot them and throw them in a folder in Google Drive or in a doc in Google Drive, so that later you can have those. But yeah, I mean, and you could also, if you're not sure and you're just starting out, I would just ask ChatGPT, what are the 10 most common questions people have when trying to use a new media creator? And you'll get 10 easy ones you can use for FAQs.
Yeah. I mean, you should know your basic FAQs, right? Like, what video can I use on the MLS? Like, our property video, our horizontal property video is best for the MLS. Do we get a branded and unbranded version of the video? Yes, you get 2 versions. Those kinds of questions. How soon do
I get my photos? You can use these questions to qualify yourself as the expert as well, by using questions that answer a question they might not have asked, which is like, do you have a Part 107 certificate and insurance? You know what I mean? Like, yes, we're fully insured and all our pilots are certified Part 107, so now you've just, made yourself look good. And it's a better way to put that data in there than just throwing it, barfing it on a page somewhere.
What do you do if it rains? Like, things like that. So you get the point. I mean, like the FAQs that you guys get these questions all day long. So and make up a list of them, put them on there. You only need, I would say, like 5 to 10 FAQs on there. I had a really good idea
why did Neal grow a beard? That's our top question that we get.
I wonder, so I am currently creating a custom ChatGPT that is a knowledge base for my company. Like, basically has like every question that any shooter would have or any client would have is going to be in a database, and it's going to be a custom GPT where you just type in the question and it answers it. Like, I'm working on it. It's going to take a while because I've got a lot of questions and answers. I'm wondering if I could take that and put it into my website, like embed the little question box into my website so people could just like type in the question and it would answer it for them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Oh, I love ChatGPT. It's so fun.
I feel like that's kind of your chat bot.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of yeah, totally.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure that's already been invented, and I'm just thinking I'm really smart and I'm not, but
the chatbots have been around forever, but I don't know if they've pulled off of a specific GPT like that, or if they were like super generic, how they worked, but definitely that would be useful in a lot of ways. And also I'm thinking about that. I have to think about how that works too, with using, OpenFOAD / what is it, Quo now, that if you have the AI agent potentially, that it could pull from that same thing as well. Potentially. I don't know if it works in that same way or what, but these are all things on my to-do list, as well as trying to iron out all these processes to help streamline just, planning to grow here. You know?
I know it's so much stuff, but it's fun. It's fun to like chip away at these things one little thing at a time. Feels good to get them off my list. I'm doing good this year. So we just talked about adding FAQs to your site, and let's talk a little bit about like writing for intent. So when you're writing about your service, you want to write about what problem you're solving for them. Like what you're going to help them. What is their desired outcome from ordering video from you? Because it's easy to write a description of what your video is, but how do they use that? How do they use that to what do they get from getting that video and putting it on social media? Are they getting more leads? Like you can add these phrases in that kind of trigger them and they're like, oh yeah, I need that video because I need to get more followers on social media. If I do these premium reels, these are ones that most people aren't doing, like, and it gets me more leads, it gets me more views, like, so use that kind of verbiage on your descriptions to kind of help entice people to want to work with you.
Yeah.
And book your
services. What are you helping them do? You're helping them with that service, or you're helping them sell the home faster? You're helping them be more visible to future clients? Yeah. What are you helping them do? Because they all have their own goals, what they want to be. Step inside the head of a real estate agent and go, what would you want to be, right? You want to be successful in social media. You want to win more listings. You want to, you want to inspire others to be like you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Think like them. Yeah.
And then make sure that it's not too fluffy. Like a lot of the descriptions, especially if you're using ChatGPT to help you write these, a lot of them can be super fluffy and just like useless information. Just be careful that you're not just adding words to add words. Honestly, the less amount of text you have on your website, the better. People are not reading large paragraphs or, pages of text. I've seen websites where people put their whole entire life story on their about page. And it's like, no one's going to take, very few people besides your mother and your aunt are going to take the time to read that part. You know, like it's really, most people don't care that much. They're more into themselves and how can this company help me? They don't really care that much about your story. So just keep it surface, keep it very like intentional with what you're sharing and how what you are sharing helps them. Like maybe you have a background as a creative director for, or you worked for Mr. Beast as a video editor. I don't know. That kind of stuff would be really impactful to put on your about page because that would make them give you the validation and the credibility that you know what you're talking about and you're going to produce good results for them.
And if you're using ChatGPT, one of the things you could do is use the story brand as a framework and tell it, I want to make sure I keep this simple and clean to understand. I'm reading the books Building a Story Brand, and I want to follow those best practices to accomplish that. And because a lot of times you'll get way too much wording, especially if you're trying to refine with ChatGPT, you give them more suggestions and it just kind of gets bigger and bigger. And then you don't even want to read it. But their whole principle is kind of like this, caveman. The caveman should be able to look at that and understand what you're saying, right? If the caveman can't do it, barely speaking English, then it's not going to be effective. And the more text that's on screen, most people will get overwhelmed and not read any of it because they're like, whoa, they want the least path of resistance. Like this wins you more clients. Add video, like, oh, I get that, right?
Simplify as much as you can. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next section, which is technical clarity without the tech overwhelm, because tech can be very overwhelming. I feel like nowadays, obviously, hiring a web designer back in the day was like the way to go if you wanted a good website, in my opinion. Like you can build one. There's a lot of web builders out there, but like it was in order to get all the SEO and to get it really dialed in and looking really professional. I feel like you needed a web designer to do that, unless you had this hidden skill. But now with AI and ChatGPT able to come in and evaluate your site and give suggestions on what you could do to make it better, how to add this code that we're going to talk about in a bit, all this stuff, it's like more and more reason why you don't really have to pay a ton of money for a web designer. Minus the like aesthetic part of it, which I can't stand that part. That I need help with.
If I had tons of money, I would still find the best web designer and have them make it. And I know it would be sick. But if you're the average business owner like myself, Wix is great. And then you can evaluate what you've created. And just like when we were doing our ads and trying to do Facebook ads and all that, I was constantly evaluating them with ChatGPT, taking some screenshots of it and going like, look, how's this look? And I was like, well, you need to clean up that header. And your call to action isn't strong. I recommend this or that. And, you give some feedback and adjust it and tweak it, but it helped a ton doing that. And I'll be doing kind of the same stuff as I build the website and update it to make sure that I'm not losing my path from, A to Z, what the main goal is. which is to get them to book for me, right? I want them to see that, understand what we do, and book. And so that should be the through line for my website. And I'll make sure that chat reads it and make sure it's easy to understand, follows the StoryBrand guidelines, and is simple and easy to get to that book now button.
Okay. So one of the most important things is that the page loads quickly on your phone and on your computer. So adding images that are massive are not going to help your page load quickly. So you can resize these images, make them smaller so that they load quicker. That's a big one. I don't know how many times I've gone to a website to buy something and it takes forever to load and I literally just swipe out. I'm like, I don't even have time for this. I obviously don't need it that bad, and it's such an impulsive thing to click on those Instagram ads to buy like the comfy sweatshirt that I almost paid $50 for yesterday, but then I was like, no, I don't need it. But anyways, if the page doesn't load quickly, people are swiping off. It's like, just got to make sure that this page speed is good.
Yeah. And technically for those photos, for example, you don't need anything above 72 DPI basically, because online, that's all you need for quality. When you're going to print something else, you might done 300 DPI or whatever. So just know if you want to resize it, it does not have to be anywhere near as big as something you had to print. And so that'll help with the loading speeds.
Okay. So Google needs help reading your site. So Google is trying to do its best to decipher what your site is all about, what your services are, what your location is, but it needs help. And that's where Schema comes in. So Schema is a piece of code that you basically copy and paste on the back end of each of your pages within your website that just explains, it's like the main things are like your name, your business name, your phone number, your service area, and the services you provide. And all of those things need to match exactly what you have on your Google page as the code that you copy and paste into your website. So it just helps. Schema is like labeling the shelves in your store so that Google knows what's where. The way they explain it at PMRE, I haven't found this. I've been researching Schema today, trying to figure this all out. And I just added it to my website too. But they positioned it as a way for AI platforms to be able to find you. It wasn't just Google.
Right.
Obviously, like Gemini is connected to Google. So I'm sure you'll come up in searches on Gemini now. But that was my big intention with it, was like, I want to be searchable on these AI websites and these AI search engines, whatever they're called. ChatGPT, Gemini. Anyway, it's Saturday. Yeah. So yeah, I want to be found on all those sites. If someone's like, who's the best real estate photographer in Seattle? I want my name to come up, and right now they don't. So how do we do that? And my understanding from PMRE was Schema would do that for you, but I'm not finding a lot on that. It's really linked more to Google than anything, but
yeah,
hey,
it sounded like, it sounded like that too, from what I remember hearing too. Yeah. But then I also remember him saying it was still pulling from Google, but yeah, I don't know how much more that helps, but so, and basically I like that explanation though, that this is just the top level, like here's a simplified answer of what everything below this is. And that's kind of what the Schema does. And you're just plugging that, like on Wix, you're just going and plugging that into the header. It's not something that will be seen. It's not something that changes the way your page looks. It's just code in the background.
Yeah.
So that my understanding is your page is quickly summarized so they understand what they're going to get if they go here.
Yeah, it just strengthens your SEO foundations for long-term growth. So, and SEO is kind of a long game. It takes time to build SEO. And this is just one more thing that you can do to help with that SEO. So you're findable, searchable on Google.
I'm findable.
Yeah. I'm making up words today because
I'm findable on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Psst. Sorry to interrupt. If you haven't heard, Rach and I are using Pixl CRM.
Pixl CRM isn't just another boring tool. It's basically your business's best friend. With Pixl CRM, you can automate your lead generation, follow-ups, client communication, and stay top of mind with email campaigns. And there's just so much more.
And if you want, you can try it out today. Just go to pixlcrm.com/STS, and you're going to get the first month of Pixl CRM free.
So a couple things Schema does not do. It does not change your design.
Yep.
It does not guarantee rankings. But what it does help with is understanding services, locations, understanding your videos, understanding your FAQs, and understanding booking actions. So a couple myths around Schema. Schema is only for developers. You can mess up your site, and it's only for big companies. So just to reassure you that Schema is safe, It's invisible on the back end, and it's one of the clearest ways to communicate with Google. So it's definitely something you want to add onto your website for sure. So I have created a custom GPT for you that if you're not familiar what a custom GPT is, it's basically like I add all of the instructions into ChatGPT and it creates basically a box where you can type in a question and it gives you the answer. So like on Christmas, we gave our kids $500 and we wrapped the $100. We wrap up the $100 bills and put them under the tree. Well, this year we thought, let's do a scavenger hunt. So I was like, what if I created a custom GPT that would be like a scavenger hunt location generator? So I typed in, I said, it needs to be a 5th grade level. Locations are in my house, like whatever. I gave it the instructions. I said, make this a custom GPT on the GPT store. So now anybody can go in and search for that GPT. And if they want to create scavenger hunt, it's there for you. You don't have to give ChatGPT all the instructions. You just type in like the location itself and it gives you a riddle to find whatever it is in that location. So cool. It's fun. It's cool. So I did this for the schema. So basically you just have to go in, it asks you some questions. You just put in your website and all that, and it gives you the code. And then it gives you instructions on where to copy and paste this if you're using, I think it's Wix, Squarespace, or WordPress. And you could probably ask it if you have a website somewhere else, I'm sure you can ask it to help you put it there.
Yeah. So think of it as like bowling with the bumper nets, like so you don't less likely to get a gutter ball. She set up rules and parameters that are relevant for our industry and specifically for doing schema for real estate, photographer, media creators, real estate agents, that kind of thing. So kind of narrowing the funnel. So instead of just using all of the AI information out there that might not be relevant or optimized for what you're trying to do, this is focusing it for exactly what you want to accomplish. So you're less likely to have a gutter ball.
So a good way to think of schema too, just if you're still kind of confused on what it is your website is the building, your content is the furniture, and the schema is the blueprint that Google reads.
Okay. I like that. Very nice.
All right. So if you, one thing I wanted to add too.
I hope it's
definitely
I hope it's a Kubicasa blueprint because I can't read a real blueprint.
I know, right? No, that's why Google does it. We don't need to do that. So one thing on your about page, you are a professional photographer. You should have professional photos of yourself. Find another photographer that you can trade with, or hire a professional headshot photographer or lifestyle photographer to do your photos for you. I would highly recommend doing a lifestyle and branding shoot for your business and for yourself, which gets you pictures of you shooting in a house, pictures of you flying the drone, doing Matterport, doing video, a good solid headshot or 5 in the house that'll just help your brand really level up. Those photos make a huge difference. Not only use them on your website, but you can use them on social media, newsletters, all those things. So they really do come in handy. And we definitely have access to a lot of photographers in this industry. So don't be shy to reach out to a local photographer and see if maybe they want to trade. You might be surprised at how many portrait photographers, or, if they have a studio or something, they might need some pictures of their studio. And they're not like me and Carly's now works for me, but she had a newborn and maternity studio and she needed photos of the space. And so we would trade. And she'd do my lifestyle photos and I would do pictures of her space for her.
Yeah, cool.
Detail shots of all of her props and stuff, which is something she probably could have done, but didn't want to. So it worked out great. Anyways, So don't be afraid to ask for that. And then obviously like showcasing your work. You have beautiful photos, so it's really hard to make your website ugly with all the gorgeous photos that we have. That was one thing I remember when I hired my brand manager back in the day and she built my website. She was like, gosh, these photos just make it so much fun to build out your website that like it can't look bad. Like these photos just take it to the next level. She's like, it's so great. I was like, thanks so much. Anyways, so use your resources, PayPal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and if you have another shooter or you have an assistant or something, bring them out with you on the next shoot or something. Get some content in one of those cool houses that you're doing. That's always when I've got the best stuff. One time I had Zach come with me and just get some shots of me working. I was like, they were great. It was hard to get them wrong because we were in the right kind of property. It looked beautiful. It's like awesome.
Yep, so, exactly. Oh, cool. One thing too, you can test your schema after a few minutes. You can test it, and there's instructions on how to do that on that custom GPT link that's in the description below. And you can test it out, make sure it's all set up right and running right. And honestly, you can just talk to ChatGPT and be like, help, it's not working, or I need to change this. Or I mean, it's dead easy. They're basically just write the code for you. You copy and paste it on the back end. It took me 15 minutes to do mine. So.
Oh, and just in general on the SEO, if you're using something like Wix or or Squarespace or something like that. I know that Wix definitely has a little walkthrough for basic SEO setup too, which I didn't realize until we already had it up for like a year or two. And then I was like, oh, what's this? And it was just ask me simple questions, and it built some basic SEO for us as well. Definitely look for that on your whatever you use for your website, or if you have somebody building it for you, then they're going to be optimizing this anyway.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have to say about that, Neal.
That's nice. Well, I really liked it. And I'm very excited to add some schema to my website, because it definitely don't have it right now.
Yes. So grab the link below. You just click on the link and then you'll type in it'll tell you what to do from there. You can explore the schema world yourself. Enjoy. One more thing that we have is a prompt for you to put into ChatGPT that will give you a website audit. So you can copy and paste that right into ChatGPT. It'll go through and evaluate your website and tell you where you might be falling short or where you are excelling. So I highly recommend copying and pasting that prompt and using that. I actually sent that out in a newsletter to my realtors and used it as a lead magnet. So it's a great tool for people to use as well, just for a freebie, a giveaway, something. You just always want to be adding value. So get creative.
Don't forget to evaluate some of your competitors' websites in the area as well, because they might be doing something better than you are, which is I compared myself to some other websites and realized, oh, they're doing some cool stuff. Like that's where I saw the frequently asked questions part and a couple things I had missed. And you can also ask ChatGPT to evaluate their website and compare it against yours and see where you can improve, or where you could also intentionally create a different value proposition if you want to have something different, a different kind of look and feel or whatever. And it was kind of eye-opening to do that. And we definitely have some different angle that we're propositioning to our clients than a lot of the competition. So yeah, it's good to evaluate that and see, you don't have to always reinvent the wheel there. Somebody already wrote a website and probably did a pretty good job at it. You probably figure out 70% from looking at theirs. So
exactly. Cool. Awesome.
Cool, guys.
All right. Well, you enjoy your day, and we'll see you on the next one.
I bid you adieu.